all 4 men's major wins in 2025 had one thing in common. Can you spot what it is? Didn't see it that time. Have another look. If you couldn't spot it, the answer is the Fujikura Ventus shaft. In 2025, for the first time ever in history, the Fujikura shaft has won all 4 men's majors, which never happened before, so that's quite historic. In this video, we're going to be exploring the Ventus range. I'm going to be speaking to a Fujikura expert to find out what the differences are and what they're going to do for you. And I'm going to give my opinion about whether I think they're worth the money and are they going to help you win your next monthly medal. Right, let's get into it. So we're going to kick things off actually by hitting a non-Ventus Fujikura. So I have a TaylorMade QI35 core head here, and I have the Fujikura Air Speeder stiff shaft, which just comes as a stock option in the TaylorMade, just so that we can have a bit of a comparison between the shaft that you're going to buy from off the shelf. It's unfitted, so I'm fairly certain it won't be right for me, or certainly not optimal for me. And then we're going to compare that to the different Ventus options. So let's kick things off with a few of these shots. I am sort of hoping for some pretty reasonable performance because it is a QI35 head, which I love, and it is a Fujikura shaft, so it should be pretty good too. Not my best strike ever. A little bit spinny, 154 ball speed, 3000 RPM of spin for a 250 carry, so it's okay. It's not terrible, but not great. Not a great strike. Off the bottom. 154 ball, 3-3 spin for a 243 carry. I'll just hit one more, see if I can actually strike one. This thing is, it's quite a lightweight shaft, so it's not necessarily certain I can feel exactly where the head is as I'm swinging it, and it is a little bit probably whippy for me. So I think that's probably why I'm catching the strike a little bit low. Well, that's as good as I can do. So much better hit that. 159 ball speed, 262 carry. And what's letting me down a little bit in terms of like being optimal in terms of distance is the spin. So 3,100 spin. All 3 shots were over 3,000 spin. So it's a little bit too much, and that's just going to mean the ball's hanging in the air. It's going to get a bit more affected by the wind, and it's not going to carry and total out as far as it probably could do. Now there's 4 different colours of Ventus shafts. There's white, red, blue and black, and they all do slightly different things. Fujikura didn't send me a white one just because it definitely wasn't going to work for me. It's the maximum high launch option, but they didn't have one that they could send me, so that's fine. We're going to go straight to the Ventus Red. But first, let's see what the Fujikura tour representative has to say about the Ventus Red.
As we get slower, we don't generate as much spin, so we might need a shaft that produces a little bit more dynamic loft. So with that, maybe a Ventus Red, Ventus White might work a little bit better to help create a little bit more dynamic loft, hit the ball a little bit higher, keep the ball in the air just due to the spin. If you're a low spin player, I think red and white would be automatically where I go.
So we're in the Ventus Red now. So what we have here is a super stiff handle, a pretty stiff middle, and then a sort of softer tip. This club is designed with a softer tip, which means it's going to kick up, help you present a bit more loft and help you launch the ball higher. It'd be interesting to hit this straight after hitting that stock shaft, just because straight away in your practice swings I can get a sense for just how stable it is. Even with the softer tip, it feels a lot more sort of in control. I'm not waggling it around and feeling like it's going to sort of spray all over the place. And hopefully what we're going to see is a reduction in spin and a little bit better numbers on the launch monitor. That's pretty good. Out the middle. Right. Straight away, better numbers here. So 162 ball speed. So immediately 3 miles an hour gain in ball speed off of what felt to me like exactly the same strike. Carries jumped up to 267, so that's quite a lot. And that is thanks to the spin reduction. So 2,699 spin on that shot. Still gone up in the air. The peak height's at 90 feet, which is about right for me. So that was absolutely spot on. Let me hit a couple more just to solidify those numbers. a bit hooky. 158, and now that was an interesting one because that actually was a low strike, but the ball speed's still up 158, and actually the spin is still down at 2,900, which is obviously top end of where you really want it. But for what was like a super thin strike, I've still managed to keep the spin down. Some of that's the head, but a lot of that's the shaft, because when I hit that shot with the stock shaft, the spin was up at 3.3, 3.5, which is obviously just absolutely no good. Let me try my best and hit one out the middle so we can get in more fair numbers. Oh, yeah, happy. 160 ball speed, really nice. 2,749 spin, 273 yards carried. That is pretty much as optimal as I'm ever going to hit this driver. So what we can see there in the difference between just those first two shafts is a 4 miles an hour difference in ball speed. 4 miles an hour quicker with the Ventus Red versus the standard Fujikura shaft. Launch angle is a little bit lower. Peak height is actually slightly higher on the Ventus. Spins come down 400 RPM, which is obviously what I want. And so we are looking at a 14-yard carry difference, which is absolutely massive. So 14 yards further with the Ventus Red versus the stock shaft. And I think a lot of that difference in ball speed is due to me being able to deliver the club much better. You know, when the tip is stiffer, I was able to find the middle of the face more. And obviously, the closer you hit to the sweet spot, the more ball speed you're going to get. And actually, the reduction in spin compared to miss hits too. Right, let's test the blue now. So I've never hit this before. And we're going to see, hopefully, lower ball flight, lower spin, which might give me the longest distance, maybe. But we'll see.
Blue is for maybe a smooth loader of the golf ball, but still wants stability and control down at the tip section. You know, I've worked and I've done so many fittings to where it's like, yeah, you automatically assume somebody moving at 60 miles an hour might need a vent the softest, shaft that helps promote the highest launch and highest spin. But depending on where they're hitting it on the face, depending on the shot that they're playing, they might need a Ventus Black 5S or a Ventus Blue 5, so. And until we kind of look at their swing, look how they're loading it, look how they're delivering it, look at where their impact location lies, their start direction, and you just kind of piece all these things together and kind of see what driver specs they have in, what they kind of need to go into, and then from there it's a trial and error process that you're just trying a couple different models that you think might work well.
This thing feels a bit stiffer, just waggling it around, maybe a little bit softer up here, definitely stiffer down there, which would give you flatter launch, less spin. So this is like maybe for the player who hits the ball already quite high and is looking to either stop the ball curving off so much, decrease spin, so straight shots, or plays in the wind all the time and they just want like low knucklers. Oof. Now, definitely harder to work that. It felt like I worked a bit harder on that. I don't know why. Or I do know why. It's because I could feel that it wasn't kicking. Definitely a lot stiffer. Now I still managed to launch that quite high. What we're seeing there is a 162 ball speed, which is my highest yet. 13-degree launch, which is right in the optimal zone. A peak height of 100, so that hasn't actually gone any lower for me. But the spin is way down, 2,100, exactly as we sort of might have predicted, for a 279.8 yard carry. So that is actually 15 yards on the average of the red, which is interesting. Now the red did include a poor strike, so I probably will have to include one of those. Not that I'll have to try and hit it badly, because that just does happen. But let's hit a couple more just to get a more varied strike pattern. Or maybe this shaft is just so well suited to my swing that I'm going to hit all these out the middle, and this is the one for me. I don't know. But let's keep going. Bit spinny. Yeah, 161. So it wasn't quite as good a strike as the previous. Spins jumped up. 161 ball speed, 263 carry, 3,200, 3,300 spin. So quite a lot of spin there. It wasn't quite as good a hit, but a better performing shot than the high spinning red. So nice, happy with that. Look, if I did 14 of those when I was playing golf, it went straight and it's gone relatively long, I would be pretty happy, to be honest. One of the things I think people worry about too much when getting fit for drivers is distance. Is that going further than my old driver? And they make their buying decision entirely on, is it going any further? And I think that is just utterly wrong, to be honest. So I know that my golf, I can put a driver in the bag that goes miles, but if it's wayward, I score worse, objectively worse. Where if I have a club in the bag off the tee that I know is going to get on the fairway, certainly most of the time, I always score dramatically better. So I would encourage you, yes, we're looking for a club that outperforms your previous one, but it's not just all about distance, it's about consistency and dispersion. Yeah. Oh, hottest ball speed of the day. 164 ball, 275 carry, very nice. Total spin, 2,700. So probably a bit more. That is like the shot I'm looking for. That would probably be my average shot. I don't often spin it super low, so that's about right. So just looking at the 3 shots compared to the Ventus Red, we are 2 miles an hour ball speed quicker at 162 versus 160, 8 yards longer carry from 264.6 to 272.5. So pretty happy with that. Peak height's actually a little bit higher. I don't know why that is. Maybe that could just be strike location. And spin is actually sort of near enough very similar, 2,706 versus 2,708. So maybe not exactly a lower spinning club on that 3-ball test, but I'm sure when I go and hit loads of balls in the net after this to get more data, we'll probably see those shots average out, and I will see a difference in spin. But definitely a different performing shaft. It definitely feels dramatically different in the swing. A lot less give, a lot less flick at the bottom, much more stable for me, certainly in my hands. And I actually really like the way that felt. So 272 yard carry, when it's firm is a 300 yard drive, and when it's wet is a 285 yard drive. So I'm pretty happy with that. And that is plenty long enough for where I play golf here at Sandmore. So like that a lot. Now let's get on to the club that has actually won all the majors, the Ventus Black.
Black is for the guy that's bringing the heat. That he doesn't want to feel any lag whatsoever throughout his swing. He just wants something he knows where the face is going to be, and he might need lower launch and lower spin. So, but I can't pigeonhole these certain types of players into certain types of shafts. It's one of those things where you got to try and see which shaft promotes the best center face contact for my swing. Which shaft gives me the best starting direction, whether it's right or left, depending on the shot that I want to play for my swing. And then what shaft consistently helps hit the center of the face if it gives me the correct launch and spin and peak height for my swing.
This thing has an aura about it. It looks really cool. It looks really sleek. It's the shaft I think we all want to put in the bag, but I'm not sure it's right for me, but I've never hit it, so let's give it a go. This is really exciting. This is Fujikura's most stable shaft. So we pretty much have super firm, stiff handle, a very stiff mid, and then a super firm, stiff tip. This is obviously what's in the shaft and the driver of Scheffler and McIlroy. So players are putting the shaft in the bag because it's helping them hit the ball the straightest. Those guys are not bothered by distance. They have enough speed. They want fairways, and this is the shaft they're choosing to get the ball in play more. Again, just on that very scientific pre-hit waggle, this thing feels like a lamppost to me. It is super stiff. It doesn't feel like there's any flex or give in the shaft at any point. So how that is going to translate into my shots, I don't know, but I'm really excited to hit it. So let's do it. I am not McIlroy. Ooh, maybe I am. So 160 ball speed, 3,000 spin, 267. Now, I don't feel like I'm getting any help from that shaft in terms of helping me hit it further. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that spin drop down. That was a pretty good strike. And actually, I would love that shot out on the golf course because it was like a sort of high draw. It had a really good flight, that. But, interesting to see the spins up. And interesting to see the ball speeds down, because that felt as good a strike as I managed with either of those other two. And maybe, that stiffer stiffer profile across the board is just not going to give me any kick. It's going to reduce my speed a little bit. So not optimal for distance, but maybe optimal for dispersion. So interesting first shot. Even this feels hard. It's heavy, and there's no whip, there's no give. I mean, I like it. There's two identical shots. 162 ball, 273 carry, 2,900 spin. Really like it. I'm working hard. I'm sweating, actually. That's how I would describe having to use this shaft. It's hot, and this is definitely needs a bit more. But two near enough identical golf shots. So maybe, actually, the marketing is right. This does help you hit the ball on a tighter dispersion. Let's hit one more. That was great. Pretty good. 161 ball speed, 270 carry, 2,800 spin. So maybe the most stable of the spin. It's probably the most consistent ball striking, most consistent ball speed, probably most consistent carry. Pretty much everything Fujikura says it's going to do. It's going to give you the tightest, most stable shots. And that's exactly how I found it, to be fair. So very interesting. When we look at the comparison between all three of those Ventus shafts versus the stock shaft, it is significant, the difference. So near enough, the Ventus Blue and the Ventus Black were near enough 20 yards further in carry. So we can definitely say upgraded shafts better than a just standard off the shelf and unfitted. Definitely not right for your shaft. So never ever ever just buy off the shelf, because that is wrong. Ball speed, 6 or 7 miles an hour quicker, which is nice. Spin down with all three Ventus shafts compared to the stock shaft. That stock shaft is right for somebody, and it is probably going to be right for the majority of golfers. But if you're really looking for optimal dispersion, optimal performance, these upgraded shafts are just doing better, more carry and straighter. So it's an absolute no-brainer, isn't it?
It's been a great year for Ventus Black. I mean, to have Fujikura win all four majors, but then to have the same model shaft also win the four majors was pretty cool. And that being Ventus Black, and that's a big accomplishment for us. That's my job as tour, working this tour is to get as many guys as I can to get the top players in the world using our products. And yeah, a sweep of the Grand Slam was great. I mean, we also have nine out of the top 12 players in the world using our products, which is phenomenal. These are numbers that have never been done before, and I think it's just a testament of what we're doing here. But we will not get tired. We're going to keep pushing the envelope, keep trying to make the best product that we can for not only tour players but general consumers, and we won't bring it out to market if it's not better. So I think what you're going to see even coming down the pipeline, just know that there is a lot of R&D and research and time and energy going into this, and I think our passion kind of sets us over the top, and our profiles that we currently have in our lineups are better than everybody else, and I'm very happy with what we're doing. We just need to keep going, keep pushing the envelope.
I am pretty shocked in the difference between these Ventus shafts and the stock shaft. Not only in terms of just how they feel, like that the stock shaft felt very light, very kicky, definitely a shaft for just helping people get the ball up in the air and sort of fairly straight, where these three felt, not only did they feel dramatically different to that, but they actually each felt dramatically different to one another. So the red definitely was offering the most help in terms of maybe adding a bit of kick, a bit of speed, having to get the ball up in the air. The blue was significantly more tip stiff. Felt like I had to work a little bit harder for the same speed, but it still performed very well. And the black was just like a fire poker, just a steel fire poker, rigid all the way through, offered no real give and help in terms of speed, but just performed exceptionally well. Looking at those numbers, I think we can fairly say the upgraded shafts have all performed miles better than the stock shaft. And not only that, but to a point where I would genuinely consider buying one of these, just because 15 to 20 more yards carry and more narrow dispersion, that might be worth you know, loads and loads and loads of shots to me across a season, and you sort of can't ignore that. It'd be stupid to ignore that. Fujikura don't pay tour players to use the shafts. They're playing them by choice. So if you get the option to try a Fujikura Ventus shaft, you definitely should. And actually, you should seek out that opportunity, because I think there's something in the Ventus range that is going to help you hit the ball a bit further, but actually, more importantly, tighten dispersion, get the ball in play more, and help you shoot lower scores. So let me know what you think. Have you tried a Ventus shaft? Are you going to go try a Ventus shaft? And actually, if you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, because all the engagement we get helps us grow, helps us do more videos like this, and helps us get better information to you. So thank you very much for watching.